Hi, I'm meteorologist Alexandra Cranford at WWL Louisiana, and we are looking at our Arctic air mass and just talking quickly about what we're going to be expecting with this cold weather that we have ongoing right now and then continuing for one more really cold night for us in the New Orleans area, and then also warming up by Thursday with another cold snap coming by Friday and the weekend. Now, temperatures right now are very cold, of course. We've been talking about this all week and really over the weekend for other parts of the U.S. But here we in New Orleans are now looking at these really cold temperatures as well, although we have risen above freezing. So that's a big thing. Any of those icy patches that you may have seen north or west of Lake Pontchartrain in our general area in Southeast Louisiana and coastal Mississippi, as we rise above the freezing mark, we should see those start to come to an end. They'll be melting or evaporating. And we also have sunshine, so that will be a difference in the fact that we won't have any more precipitation coming for tonight. So frozen for most of the state, at least a few hours ago. Now we're seeing our temperatures with this kind of jaggedy freezing line showing where we're above freezing. Still a few spots below freezing. Now, if you are not above freezing yet, like Hammond and Reserve and Bogalusa, you may have a little bit longer to deal with any of those icy patches, especially parts that are in the shade, maybe that aren't getting sunlight. So a little bit more for that, maybe even into tonight and early tomorrow. But tomorrow our temperatures get into the 40s, so we'll be well above freezing by that point. Showing you our winds really quickly. They are coming in from the north, gusting to near 30 miles per hour at the lakefront, and that is bringing our feels-like temperatures into the 20s. So Kenner and the lakefront feeling like 24 and 26. Let me show you quickly our morning lows. These are the temperatures we hit early on this Tuesday morning. We hit 19 at Hammond and Baton Rouge. Slidell got to 23. Kenner got to 24, the lakefront even 28, and Belle Chase and Homa both 27s, and around Gulfport middle 20s there. So when we talk about the temperatures coming up, keep in mind this is what we hit early on this Tuesday morning, and for some of us it will be colder tomorrow morning, but not as much south of the lake. Tomorrow morning south it looks about the same as what we saw this morning. But if you're north of the lake, you will be much colder. So diving into the forecast quickly, we have dry air in place, this cold air mass that has moved in. We do have pretty skies though, sunshine. So if you were able to bundle up a bit, maybe this afternoon didn't feel that bad to you as we stayed in the middle 30s. Still cold, especially by New Orleans standards, of course. Our cold weather forecast for tonight, we're expecting a hard freeze all over the place for tonight. So we're talking about teens north and 20s south of the lake again, and probably upper 20s to about 30 even for our extreme coastal spots, and that will be several hours. The advisory or the warning goes into effect at 6 p.m. So already by 6 and 7 we'll be dipping below freezing, and then we'll be staying in that range until at least maybe 9 or 10 tomorrow morning. Also, we'll have a wind chill advisory. Our wind chills could feel as low as 5 to 10 degrees. That would be mostly farther north toward Macomb, Mississippi, or maybe toward Baton Rouge. But even other spots, even south of the lake, will be feeling easily like 20s and maybe even upper teens, and north of the lake likely feeling like around maybe 10 to 15 for a lot of North Shore spots early tomorrow. So this is from this evening all the way until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Just be aware it's going to be feeling even colder with our winds, not as strong as today, but still just a little bit of wind helping those temperatures to feel even lower. So here's our hour by hour forecast. If you're curious when we're going to get back to freezing south at the lake, again, 6, 7 p.m. we'll be dipping back to freezing and then getting into the 20s, maybe even by 10 and 11 p.m. And then after midnight through the morning hours, we're sitting in the middle 20s. If you're on the North Shore, where of course things tend to get colder because it lacks the effect of the lake with those north winds hitting the relatively warmer lake waters and making it warmer relatively for the South Shore. North of the lake, you'll be dipping into the freezing point probably by maybe 5 or 6 right around sunset. And then as we move through this evening, you'll already be in the 20s. So a good evening to kind of stay inside if you can. And then into tonight, you can see getting into the upper teens, maybe even by 3, 4 a.m. and then hitting those lows. I have near 16 or so north of the lake for tonight. So that is pipe bursting kind of weather. You'll want to make sure your pipes are protected. You probably did it already for last night, but go ahead and do that if you have not so far. South of the lake, 25 or so is very similar to what we hit this morning. So you probably protected your plants last night for the freeze. Hopefully have your pipes set as well south of the lake because it will be very similar. So overnight temperatures for early tomorrow, teens north, 20s south of the lake, away from the city, Thibodaux, Houma, Raceland, all around 20 degrees. And then for tomorrow or Thursday morning, we will not be seeing that kind of extreme cold anymore. It'll be cold. We'll be in the 30s south and maybe brushing upper 20s north of the lake, but we won't be seeing pipe bursting kind of weather for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And by Friday morning, look at this. We're in the 40s to lower 50s. The farther south you go. Tomorrow during the day, again, just wanted to point up, we're warming way up into the 40s, so mostly sunny, northeast winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and it'll be a little warmer. It's weird for us to say 40s are warm in New Orleans, but it will be warmer than what we've seen today, of course. And then tomorrow evening, we'll be dropping back through the 30s. And just looking at your 7-day forecast, we are going to be warming up Thursday during the day, all the way into the 60s before we have our temperatures dropping for Friday with another front. So Thursday might see just a few showers. Not thinking any sort of frozen precipitation outlook at all. Really, we're finished with that at this point, just waiting for a few of those ice patches to melt for North Shore spots at this point. So Friday, we stay chilly, highs around 50. Wanted to get you alerted for our next cold snap, which is coming this weekend. Look at Saturday's lows. Middle 20s north, that would be a hard freeze once again. South of the lake, probably a light freeze. Upper 20s, when you kind of scrape the upper 20s, that's not really a hard freeze, but of course it is freezing below the 32-degree mark. Saturday during the day, we stay in the 40s. Sunday, 23 or so expected north. That will be a cold start, a hard freeze north on Sunday morning. South of the lake, probably a light freeze, and highs Sunday around 50 or so. So the weekend looks good. It's mostly sunny, it's dry, but it will be cold with those highs both days likely in the 40s. Thanks for joining us for this quick weather update at a little after 3 p.m. on your Tuesday. We'll have more, of course, coming up at 5, 6, and 10 on WWL Louisiana, and more updates, of course, on our website, app, and at WWLTV.com and social media.